Welcome to Quick Truth. My name is Derek Truesdell. This week I'm going to look at James chapter 5, and this is the last chapter of James, and I just want to cover the whole chapter in broad strokes and just conclude the study of James that I've been doing through these quick truths. So in James chapter 5, there's really three main ideas that stick out that we can really get from this chapter very quickly. So the first is that we don't want to focus on wealth, and that doesn't want to be the focus of our lives. Then second, we want to have patience, and we want to wait on God to deliver us from our circumstances. And then third, there's a power in prayer. We want to be praying for each other, our brothers and sisters in Christ. So first thing is that we don't want to focus on wealth. And we see that idea in verses 1 through 6. The first two verses say, "Come now, you rich, weep and howl for the miseries that are coming upon you. Your riches have rotted, and your garments are moth-eaten." So it's really, and then through verse 6, it's saying if you focus on wealth and money, at the end of your life, you can't take any of that with you. It's all going to go away. So we're going to be miserable if that was the focus of our whole life, because it's all going to go away. So all we're left with is rotten possessions and dissatisfied workers if we were a boss, and that's what that will look like. So we don't want to focus on that. We want to focus on things that are eternal, like love and faith and hope. So we don't want to focus on money. The second idea is that we need patience, and we find that in verses 7 through 12. And verse 7 at the beginning says, "Be patient, therefore, brothers, until the coming of the Lord." All through church history, there have been bad things that happen to Christians, and they've waited for God to deliver them. So he gives the example in James of a farmer. A farmer plants seeds in the ground, and he has to wait for the actual harvest to come. And if he gets upset at the first negative thing that happens, and he just gives up, he'll never see what was going to be there, what was going to be a harvest. And the same thing with our Christian walk. We start, and it's a small thing, we start with small actions, but when negative things happen, if we just give up right away, we're not going to ever see the fruit of what could have been. We have to stick with it and wait on God to deliver us from our circumstances. He also gives the example of the prophets. Throughout the Old Testament, the prophets gave their lives for God, and they actually did a lot of things, and a lot of times they died for their beliefs. And they never gave up. They just kept going, and they were patient. It's the same thing with us. Sometimes we serve God, and the results are negative, and it doesn't make any sense, and we get frustrated. But what James is saying is, be patient in those times. Wait on God, because there is an end result that is worth all of this. So the prophets knew that, and he's encouraging us to remember that. The last example is Job. And we all know the story of Job. He went through so many negative things, and he could have given up at any of those points, but he saw the result of what waiting on God would come to be. So he waited on God, and the end result was good. So we need to be patient, like the Old Testament prophets, like a farmer, and like Job, for the coming of the Lord, for him to come and to deliver us from our circumstances, or just the return of Christ, until we see God face to face. The final point in this chapter is verses 13 through 20, the power of prayer. And verse 13 says, "Is anyone among you suffering? Let him pray. Is anyone cheerful? Let him sing praise." And he goes on and tells about how powerful prayer really is. He gives the example of Elijah, who prayed in the Old Testament that it wouldn't rain, and it didn't rain for 2 years. So the power of prayer is on prime example right there. And he's saying, use that same power of prayer for each other. Think about your brothers and sisters in Christ. Think about what they're going through. Pray for yourself, but also think about other people and pray for them specifically, and it will make a difference. So really use that power of prayer for other people and really put it into action. A lot of times we ignore that prayer time in our daily walk with God, but it's a really powerful thing, and we should take advantage of that more often. So now we've seen really an overview of the chapter 5 of Book of James, the conclusion here. So we've seen the three big ideas that are in James 5 is not focusing on wealth, having patience and waiting on God, and then using the power of prayer. So that concludes the study of James that I've been going through in these quick truths. I'm going to probably take a little break from videos and just try to rethink what I want to do with these and what I want to focus on. But in the meantime, that's the conclusion of the book of James. And thanks for watching all of these. God bless, and I'll see you next time.